Hi, it's Stephen here from Son of a Nation Wave, and this is day 11 of the May daily draw. So as we close out the weekend and approach a new week, let's see what message we get. And I'll be taking the first card from the Druidcraft Tarot, followed by an oracle card from the Seasons of the Witch Beltane Oracle. So let's choose our first card and get the reading underway. Okay, we have the Hermit. And this is about taking time to connect with ourselves, to look within, to get that inner guidance, to get in touch with ourselves, to listen to that still small voice within us, that inner voice that our inner nature, the core of our being, our true selves, our what do they call it, our higher self, whatever you want to call that, to connect with that, to bridge the gap between this world and the next, the unseen realm, to get in touch with the higher parts of ourselves, to get some insight into our situation and into ourselves, to get a more clearer, wider, broader view of things. Look, he's gone to the mountaintop. Look how more clearly he can see of the terrain before him, because he's gone to a higher vantage point. Again, he's gained a different perspective, so it's similar in a way to the Hanged Man, gaining a new perspective, but he does it by going within and taking himself, elevating his energy level to a higher frequency and connecting with himself. Now, this you may think, well, this goes against what we've been having about connecting with others, not being too isolated, and now we're talking about a hermit. Well, look, the hermit is just have a companion. Yes, not a human companion, but he has a companion here. He's not entirely alone, and he's only going up there for a purpose, to gain wisdom, to gain insight, to gain guidance, illumination, to look at the bigger picture, to see what the terrain's like and how he can navigate it. He's gaining an insight into where he needs to be going and the route to get there. So he's making a strategic retreat to gain a better perspective, to connect and get guidance to how to proceed further. And once he's done that, then he's free to go and connect with whoever he wants, whenever he wants. But when we're having a hermit moment, we're just drawing aside to connect with ourselves for a time, with the purpose of gaining that insight that we need. I think I've mentioned this when we've talked about isolation, and I've mentioned the hermit, and here the hermit card is coming out. So maybe before this weekend, as this weekend closes, we're to connect with ourselves and to gain some of that insight that we need. You can see a river here. There's a stream coming through the terrain. Maybe he's going to follow the flow of the river, but he needs to have an overview of the direction that the river's flowing in. Who knows? Any details like that can only be clearly seen from this vantage point, or one like it, and which is why he's gone there. And sometimes that's when we need to get to that vantage point to see details that we can only see from that vantage point, so that we get a clearer sort of outline or map of where we want to be heading. And that is really the purpose of these moments. So it's not like a permanent, to me, it's not being a permanent hermit or a recluse that hides away all the time. No, you can be a traveling hermit, but even by yourself, and connect with other people. He always reminds me a little bit of anybody that knows the Lord of the Rings. He always reminds me a bit of a Gandalf figure. Now, Gandalf used to travel by himself. He's probably spent a lot of time by himself, but then he would have moments where he would connect with other characters in the story, and he would be leading and helping, when they go on the quest for, to deal with the ring and everything like that. So you can be this kind of figure and have moments like this, but also have moments of connection. So it's not too contradictory. It actually emphasizes the difference between being too isolated and just drawing aside from time to time and interacting when the moment's right. So the key here is don't go to the other extreme of not listening to your inner voice, of not spending time with yourself. You may go to the other extreme of over socializing, of over connection with others, but never with yourself, and you lose touch with yourself and where you're headed. And then you begin to perhaps follow other people's paths because you've lost sight of your own. And the only way to get sight of your own path again is to have this drawing aside by yourself to gain that insight. So that's what I believe that the Hermit is saying to us today. Okay, so let's see which oracle card we get to go with that. Maiden. It's a Maiden card. Look how she's taking hold. Almost, it looks as if she's taking hold of the sun again with that. And we have the butterflies flying in the air. So it could be part of this will involve transformation, maybe connecting with ourselves will help the growth and transformation in our lives of what we need. That's what it represents. This is where we, but it says here, demand what is yours and take back what was taken. Reclaim until you've gathered all of you. And to me, that echoes what the Hermit may be doing here as well, or the Hermit card may be telling us to do. Sometimes, when I said about we can lose sight of ourselves and our path because we don't connect enough with ourselves, and maybe we've lost some of that, some parts of ourselves we've lost sight of, and it's almost as if it's been taken from us, or we've allowed to be taken from us, parts of ourselves, and we've lost sight of where we need to be and where we need to be headed. We've forgotten who we are and where we're headed, or where we should be heading. And so reclaim until you've gathered all of you. Maybe regather yourself back together so that you can continue and have a clearer view of who you are and what you should be doing. And that might take a bit of a hermit moment to do that, to connect with yourself once again, for that to happen. So I believe that's what these cards are saying to us. So there's an advantage here of doing that, but it's with a purpose, to do what's necessary, to gather ourselves back together, to get a clearer vision of where we need to be and who we need to be, so that we can proceed on our journey. Okay, and that is today's message. I'll be back tomorrow with day 12. Until then, thank you for listening. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you all again very soon. Okay, bye-bye.